In this video I'm going to be telling you what this shoe's been like over the last 30 miles. What is up everybody, and welcome to our first impressions of these, the Brooks Hyperion Max. And like I said, I've got about 30 miles in the shoe, so I wanted to do a first video, first impressions of what this shoe is like. Now, a couple of years ago the Brooks team came out with the Hyperion Tempo, which is a fantastic shoe with this DNA flash midsole. It was a nitro infused midsole compound. It was light, it was fast, and they really, they really got themselves together with that midsole. And then they stitched on a really nice breathable upper, and it was just a lightweight up tempo daily trainer that just felt great. They then went out and thought to ourselves, right, we're going to put out a carbon plated racing shoe. So they came out with the Elite, and they used the DNA flash. So they got that at the top end, and they had the Tempo. And then they thought to themselves, we need something to fit sort of in the middle of these two. So then they came out with this, the Max, which is basically the increased stack height. This has got, now I've seen various reports, but the average is about 30 millimeters. If you know the exact stack height of this shoe, let me know in the comments. But I've seen 28, 30, 33, so whatever it is. But let's say for argument's sake it's got 30 mils, which is increased up from the previous version. But it doesn't have a plate. It's not followed the trend of these tempo shoes and adding plates or some form of carbon or TPU plates into the shoe. They've left it with the DNA flash and a very rockered shoe. So I think it's rapid roll technology, I think it's called, but it's a real nice heel to toe transition with a high toe spring, seeing that, and they're trying to really get you rolling through with that rapid roll technology. But yes, they've increased the stack in the shoe. Weight wise as well, it's super light. I think it's 288 grams here for my UK 9.5, which does fit true to size, 160 pounds. We've got a stretch woven upper, 8mm drop. We've got this, whatever it's called, rubber outsole, green rubber outsole, which is very sticky and does the job. It's wide enough as well here to add stability, which is great news. The fit around the heel's lovely. This is what you'd expect from a Brooks. I really like the laces. They're those flat laces that really lock down. Super. And like I said, the stretch woven upper on the shoe is very breathable and is very comfortable and does just the job. I've had no problems with the fit or anything like that. Yeah, and you know what? I've got to give Brooks some kudos, because and I'll come on to how it feels and everything like that, but before I get into that, I just got to say this is a shoe from Brooks that looks sweet. I love the lines that they've carved into the midsole. I just love the overall silhouette of the shoe. Yes, I think it's helped by the colourway, but I just love what they've done here. Maybe the high toe spring and the wedge at the back's making it look really nice. But I think this is one of the best looking shoes that Brooks have made for ages. And I really hope this is the way Brooks go. Imagine if they did this sort of design with like the Ghost and some of the other shoes that they make, really start punching out some really good looking shoes. And then people like me wouldn't hammer them for being stuck in the 80s, because this, I think, as I said, is probably their best looking shoe for a long time. Now, let's get the price out of the way first. I think this is over the top in terms of price. It is effectively a daily trainer to a degree. It is a shoe that you're not going to race in. I'll come on to why. But it is a shoe that if you're going to go down this road, you're going to be using for multiple different activities. And I think probably £160 is a little bit strong for it. So wait before until it gets discounted down. I think you need to be paying probably around £120 for this. I'm just thinking, off the top of my head, the Adidas Adizero SL, which is the similar sort of shoe to this, I think that's £110 at the moment on Start Fitness, but you can also get that discounted down. And I think that's the same sort of shoe where we're looking at. I think New Balance Rebel version 3, which, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's about £140. So I think 160 is a little bit trumpy for it. Although, it is Brooks, they do tend to put their prices up a little bit. But I just think wait for this if you're going to go down this route, and I'll come on to how it's performed next. But just wait on the price and see if you can get it a little bit discounted. So in terms of the feel, it is again a firm ride from the light strike from the DNA flash, but I was expecting that. That's not something new to me. The DNA flash is a firmer compound. The nitrogen infused midsole is a firmer ride. It does come to you. The tempo was the same. It got better over time. I would say it's a similar sort of feeling-ish to the Hyperburst that you get in Skechers. The Skechers is probably a little bit softer, but it's a similar sensation there in terms of the feel. It works really well, actually, the DNA Flash with this sort of rockered shoe that they've set up here. It does really go through nice. I would say with the grippy outsole that we've got here, because it's been chucking it down here in the UK where I've been out and doing these 30 miles, it really has been wet. The outsole has really stuck to the ground well. But there's been one real problem that I've had with the shoe. Now I'm talking about usage, right, because I'm going to come on to something else in a second. Yeah, hold tight. And I keep getting a sort of pain in my right calf every time I've been running in the shoe. Now, that could be because it's a firmer ride I'm not used to. That could be the rockered feel of the shoe. I'm not too sure, but whatever it is, where I've been in these shoes, and then I've switched out of them and then gone back into something else because I've got a pair of Adidas I'm starting to put into the rotation as well. I've noticed that my calf is really tender, and I put it down to these, and I think I put it down to the slightly firmer ride because I'm not used to running in firmer shoes or as firm as this anymore, and I wonder if it's got to be this because it's the only thing that I've changed recently. So just be aware of it, I would say. My calves are feeling a little bit beaten up and a little bit sore this past week and a bit since I've been running in this, so it's definitely something to bear in mind. Right, it's absolutely chucking it down outside at the moment, which again is really annoying and frustrating because I've been running this a lot in the rain and the wetter weather. I would like to run this in the summer because it's that lighter weight, that breathable upper. I'm really looking forward to getting this out on some like park runs and stuff in the summer, maybe a few 10Ks, you know, something that I'm not that fussed about, but I just want a light shoe that I can just put on. I think this is a good shout. But I do have kind of one big problem with the shoe. And that is really, I'm a bit unsure what you would really ultimately use this for, because I think it's too firm to use for daily miles. You can't obviously use it as recovery. Could you put it into longer run? I think if you like a more natural feeling shoe, like firmer, ground feel, that kind of stuff, then it may suit. I'm not saying this is a bad shoe in any shape or form. I've really enjoyed 30 miles, apart from my calves haven't. But I have really enjoyed being in this shoe. But I just don't really see the point of it. And I go back to a boring old thing that I keep saying, and I say it in all the videos, right? But I think I'd rather be in the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3. I know it's got a plate in it and all that, but I don't know, it just makes me feel a little bit more awesome than this. And maybe if you don't get on with the Speed 3, this could be an avenue to go. So that's an interesting thing maybe to take away from the video. If the Speed series has not worked for you, then maybe this could be a way to go. But I would be worried about going super long in the shoe. I wouldn't want to do like 16 miles in the shoe because I think my calves would break down. But I do think it has a place for the right person. But then you guys have been really saying that the Adios 7, I think it's the 7, is a really good shoe. So if this goes up against that, would you probably go for the Adios 7? And I really like the Rebel version 3. I really like the version Rebel 3. I've been using it a lot on club nights, and I just like that fuel cell. Again, it's a little bit softer. Which, alright, okay, you could argue it comes down to personal choice in terms of that compound under your foot, but I really like the Rebel. Probably even prefer it over this. And I prefer the Skechers Razor 4 over this. Alright, that's got a plate in it, so it's a little bit unfair, you could argue. And that's the kind of issue I've got. I think I've got other shoes in the garage that I think I prefer than this. So I don't think I've really helped, to be honest. I really like the look of it. I really love the direction that Brooks have gone in with this shoe. I like the increased stack height. I know it's a firm ride, so that's exactly what I was expecting. Yes, it will come to you in terms of getting softer and becoming more appealing. I like the outsole. You know it's going to last for a reasonable amount of time because it's made by Brooks. It is slightly overpriced, but it is what it is. But I don't know, it's that sort of shoe, you know, would you not just be better off getting the Tempo? You can get the Tempo a bit cheaper, you know, and then going and get something, I don't know, not like the Prime X Strung, but do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm a bit unsure why you'd rush out and get this shoe. That's the thing. So, you know, and does it complement a Ghost from Brooks if you're a Brooks person? Yeah, maybe you could argue that. But then why would you not buy the Elite and run a carbon plate? Do you see what I mean? So it's a bit of a, I don't know, I'm a bit confused by it. I like it. It's you know, it's a really good shoe from Brooks. I really like it, in fact, from Brooks. Although my calves haven't liked it, but that could just be where I am in my marathon training. I think it looks awesome, and yeah, I'm struggling to recommend it, people, because I just don't see the point of it to a degree, and I go back to my default position, which is why wouldn't you buy the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3.